Hello, welcome to the Seekers Podcast. I'm Wendell Hurricane Burrows, your host, and our guest tonight is BC Davis. We got several other people that may be joining us during the broadcast here. Thomas Anderson, Dale Bullock, and my co-host Neil Ho. He may be here and may not tonight. He's had some health issues he's having to go take care of, and we'll just see who joins in here tonight. And I'll just let BC here tell us about how he got into the Bigfooting and the things around him and what area of the state that he deals with. All right, BC.
Oh, thank you. Kind of how this really got into this is, well, just something to do. I'm retired now, and
Right.
I watched Survivor Man and the season that he dedicated to looking for Bigfoot. And I got to thinking, well, if I was a Bigfoot, where would I live around here? So then I thought, okay, who do I know lives in these areas that would, tell me the truth or shoot me a straight line? Some people will, and some people I know will just make up stuff, or you just can't believe them because of whatever. And so the very first one that I asked about, and I'll have to back up for a second. I've heard about the Dogman phenomena, but I was at the moment I'm just like, nah, come on, no.
Right.
Sure enough, the first person I asked, it was a multiple witness Dogman sighting in downtown Ball Knob. It was running down the tracks at nights, and it was a 7-foot female. And there was people at one street that had seen it, and there were some friends of theirs on the other street. I don't know what they were doing walking around at dark, but they had seen it as well. And 4 days later, maybe 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet down the track, a small male, 4.5 to 5 feet tall, was sighted. So that really piqued my interest. And the more people I asked, because initially I didn't think I would get anything, or I'd get, well, I thought I saw this once, or so-and-so saw this once, but it was just incredible the stuff people were telling me. In some cases, I'm sure you and others that get in this, these people are happy to tell someone that's not going to laugh in their face or just immediately call them a crackpot.
Yeah, they're actually looking for somebody that will listen to their
Right.
story and take them serious as what they've encountered and been through. They're looking for help.
Yeah, there've been several Dogman sightings between here and Judsonia. I mean, a lot of them right here in Ball Knob and some right here in city limits. Not just the two aforementioned, but that area that we went to last October, she had seen something that sounded like the hyena type. Yeah,
and just recap here for somebody that don't know, how big is the town of Ball Knob and
population? It's around 2,500. It is located around 60 miles northeast of Little Rock in northeastern White County.
So
yeah, we're right. The town motto or logo, or I'm sorry, not logo, but motto or something, whatever it is, where the Ozarks meet the Delta. So, from where I live, I can walk up to the crest of a hill, maybe a quarter mile away, and I can look out and see the Delta. And just right behind me is the Boston Mountain Range, the Ozarks.
So this would be a meeting place for anything that was traveling from north to south, like a corridor down through there.
Yes. So we have railroad tracks that one goes on to Newport and ultimately to St. Louis and Chicago, and the old Cotton Belt line goes east through Augusta, McCrory, and on to Memphis. Used to be a lot of berries grown. There was at one time 14,000 acres of strawberries grown in White County, so there was a lot of people that got off the train to pick, migrant workers and so forth, and then a lot of berries would get loaded up and shipped out. And the thing is, we have the hills, we have the lowlands, so you got both. So, like if it floods in the lowlands, they're going to be up in the hills,
right?
Until everything settles, and they start going back down again. But here lately, not hearing a lot of activity, and I've talked to a few others around here that kind of keep up, and they said they haven't been hearing much either. But that could change at any moment.
that's the same up in our area here. We hadn't had hardly any activity since February, and I'm usually the 411 on in the area. Everybody's contacting me if anything's happened. So it's been kind of quiet and this is normally the breeding season. So I don't know if they've moved somewhere in part of the state or
Yeah, I don't know.
or how it works, but it's been quiet here too.
Now I think it was back in February. I did hear a scream. That was probably 300-400 yards. I'm guessing northwestish of me, and there was several screams. I was watching something on YouTube, and I heard something. I turned the sound off. Then I didn't hear anything. As soon as I turned the sound on, I heard it again. Then I turned the sound off, and I heard it scream a few more times. I got on. I looked up bobcat. Well, the whole list of animals that make screams.
Right. You
None of
run
them
through
sounded
your
quite
head
like
trying
that.
trying to figure out what it was, and yeah.
Right. Now whether or not it was or was not a Bigfoot or a cryptid, I don't know, but I know it didn't sound like anything that I listened to. It's just the same of those howls I heard back in 2019 that I can still hear, in my mind just as plain as day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
the loudest one I've ever heard was at OARC, and there was 4 of us there, and we once you hear one that's that close and that scream howl, I mean, it just you know it from then on what it is, and you can definitely distinguish that from anything else. But
yeah, there's nothing else that's got a set of lungs like that. I mean, these were long, loud howls, 5-6 seconds, but I mean they were just continuous, and there was like I think maybe 5 of them, 4, 5, 6 howls. But when it's going on, I'm just kind of semi-frozen, like what? And then I'm like, okay. I mean, I did look it up, but I knew even before I looked up what I was listening to. Why it was howling, I don't have a clue. Maybe a mating call, but I never heard anything respond. I just heard those howls, and that was it. Haven't heard them since.
I wish
Dale
would be able to join us here. He's trying, but it just ain't working for him again. You and him are our go-to guys on dog men. I ain't had much dealings with him up in this area, but he popped in for a second and then he's gone. I was going to ask him a question, but maybe he'll get back on here.
Well, it's just that I think the railroad tracks are a good way for them to travel. And I come across somewhere, and I'm not sure if it was local or not, but a train conductor or an engineer had said that he wondered at times if he would live to see retirement because of what he's seen out on the tracks while traveling, to and from. That's kind of unnerving.
Yep. You're talking about the tracks down at Jacksonville. Me and one of my late friends, he's one actually helped me get into Bigfooting too. Went down there they had a homeless camp that was along these tracks. Mm-hmm. And there's amazing stories that there's no reason for these people to lie or anything to say. I mean, they stayed bunched up because they were scared of the stuff that was along the tracks that moved up and down the tracks that they saw when they would hitch a ride on a train or walk the tracks or just moving around. And I was like, this is at Jacksonville? And I said, they ain't no Bigfoot or dog men or nothing going to be around there. And Tony said, yeah, they are. Come on with me and talk to these people. He said, you listen to them. And you know when somebody's yanking your chain, if you ever been around people and you can listen to them or people that's sincere and in their heart had, man, I'm scared, and that's why these were. And this is just right there outside of Jacksonville.
Yeah, because some of these stories I've been told, I will go back after a certain time and ask them about it again. And when the details are not changing, right? Yeah, I'm like, because the truth will stay the truth. The lie will change, but the truth doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told of I don't know how many years ago I'm going to guess about 5 years ago, that these boys were down at Hurricane Lake Wildlife Management Area, and they had a big bonfire. I guess it was late fall, winter. And they were just sitting there chilling out, and they said that one walked up and just stood there and kind of warmed itself for a few minutes and just walked away. That's where, was anyone armed? I said, no. I'm like, well, it probably knew they weren't armed. It didn't see them as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, you better have one big gun if you think you're going to draw down on one of those. Because chances are, if you're looking at one, there's others around there looking at you.
Oh, yeah. If you're alone in your own situation or anything, it's best just to avoid them or move away, keep your eyes on them. Because if they're within, I'm saying 40 feet, you're too late to shoot anyway. If you ain't already got the gun pointed at them and ready to pull the trigger, it's too late if they're within 40 feet of you, because they're that fast. So
yeah, they can be on you just that quick.
Yeah.
And I didn't think to ask how fast that one dog man was running. As a matter of fact, on a sad note, the gal that told me about that told you, passed away in February.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, she passed away. She had several health issues, and they finally got the better of her. So.
Huh. I did not know that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and the town of Russell, there's been a lot of stuff, a lot of strange things seen in that area, both in the hills and down in the lowlands. It's kind of like Ball Knot, where part of the town is up in the hills and the other part's on the lowland.
So you got both kind of territories, whatever they need, and that's where they'll move to. Yeah,
I remember this was in, I think, around 72, and this is at Velvet Ridge, which is about 7 miles north of Ball Knot, somewhere in that area, that something had come up to a house trailer and ripped the glass door, the sliding glass door off the back, just ripped it off.
Mm.
Yeah. So are there, strong men that can do that? Maybe, possibly, but
usually not a sliding glass door, because it either blows it in or something like that, because it's got a slide. I mean, it completely rips it out. If you had another door or window open on the opposite side of the trailer or house, maybe. Oh, here comes Thomas. Maybe he's got some. There we go. Howdy, Thomas. Can you hear us, Thomas? Yeah, maybe not.
Might still be working on the sound.
Yeah, looks like he is.
But, like I said, it's, from what I've been told, it's not just Bigfoot, Dogman. There's been aliens spotted. There's been entities spotted. There's been Mothman type beings spotted.
It sounds like he's getting his audio work. That's you're talking about Mothman. There've been several people ask me if I've had anybody give me any accounts or reports of Mothman, and I haven't myself here in Central Arkansas, but I've heard
it too around here locally. Yeah, that's one was sounded like small, like maybe 2.5 feet long body and about 6 foot wingspan.
Huh.
And the others were described as large, demonic looking, that were flying. There were several of them flying circling around town. Why? I don't know. But it was the same one that told me about the Dogman encounter.
Thomas's audio is echoing somehow or another. I'll let Thomas run that. Yeah. You got your audio on now, Thomas?
Yeah. Am I echoing?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Huh.
Now you're getting pretty good. I don't know if you had it turned
Might
down.
be because I'm too far away, but I was trying out that new mic and unplugged it.
I had the mic was pretty good. I had to end up going and getting me some earbuds to get rid of my echo here. So you might try that sometime on the next one.
Yeah, I got some in my bag. I just haven't played with them on this laptop.
Right. Sound like
Now
you
you were
got
talking about the dog man. I know there's been some people posting over on my page. I think over on Wendell about dog man up in North Arkansas. And then one came out of South Arkansas. But the way I see it, that goes back to Europe, the werewolf. So
Yeah, I believe there's two different deals that's getting put in the dogman category. Maybe three, but at least two. One is the actual curse that says in the Bible that they're going to be a beast, a wolf. That would be your actual werewolf. And then I believe there's Bigfoot that actually wear a headdress that looks like whatever game. That's how come they're getting the sheep squatch and all these other different ones. From the way they're looking at, they're seeing them with their headdress on, just like the Native Americans did when they hunted buffalo. They wore a buffalo skin, and it goes with her. So I think there's two different deals that's getting put in the category as the dog man there, but that's just my personal belief.
Yeah, I've not heard of anything like that around here.
well, I know.
You're talking about
they
North Arkansas. I've had a few reports of the Ozark Howler, which is a extremely large wolf type dog that has red eyes. Now, possibly that could be the wolf as it was down. You know, they just caught it as it was running as a wolf just standing up. But I've had two reports of that of the Ozark Howler, so I never thought about that.
If I may, I'm getting a lot of echo from you for some reason.
All right. I mean, what about now? Can you hear it now?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, it's Thomas's mic. Somehow he needs them earbuds.
Okay.
See, I turn the mic on and it starts echoing.
Yeah, it's echoing again.
It's off now, and it ain't echoing now.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds good now.
That's what it is. But we'll have to all get earbuds, or your mic has got to be so far away from your speaker. I think it's 8 feet. So it's hard. You can't do that on a laptop. You can't get the speaker away.
Yeah, couple things I've noticed about the sightings is that the Bigfoot sightings, except for the one that I mentioned earlier, have all been by one individual.
By one individual, huh?
Yeah, and whereas the dog man, except for that one, the rest of them have had at least 2 or more witnesses, and they're day or night. I only know of 2 daytime sightings. One is from that place we went to in October. The lady told you about that one.
Right.
And another where a man was going to work at a sawmill that used to be down there around Hurricane Lake. So this would be late 50s, early 60s, I'm guessing. And he went around the curve and he saw one. Said it was just standing there. Said they kind of looked at each other a few seconds and it just walked into the woods. But the man said he was really scared. And the alien sightings, one has been multiple witnesses, the other 2 have been single witnesses. The Mothman type have had both. The 2 I know of have been multiple witness sightings. I've not heard of anything like what you talked about, the sheep squatch. I haven't heard anything, nor anything that sounds like the rake. You know, I haven't heard of any of that.
Right. One of our team members, Clint Holloway, is asking you a question here, BC.
Yeah.
We hadn't set our investigation yet, but we always have one in December at OR. was wondering if you would be coming to it. I don't know, maybe.
Getting a little bit more echo again, I'm afraid.
Clint Holloway, he's our basic. He's over reporting Bigfoot, and he's the Arkansas Bigfoot cartel. Him and Thomas are basically our security, our protection. He was wondering if he was going to be able to come to one of our investigations in December.
December, where at?
It'd be at OARK.
Man, I've got a vision problem. I can't, I haven't driven in 10 years, but if I can get a way up there, I would like to.
Robert, he might come if we can get a long enough a notice here and let him get his vacation time in. We might get you up there with that. But yeah,
I know. He's always down there, to go to Falk or wherever to do some looking. So
yeah, Clint's got another question here about the dog man.
Yeah, I can't read that. So if you just
tell
me
the baboon has a snout, the gorilla doesn't. Same as Bigfoot and Dogman. Both species are apes. He believes they're a type of ape or a primitive being. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but a physical animal. There we go.
Right.
And I believe they're more of a descendant of Esau and with the Nephilim, and
that's where I'm at on this.
But everybody's got their own opinion, and
right,
and that's why we're seeking. We're the seekers. We're trying to figure this out. I think Thomas has got his headphones in. You got your headphones in, Thomas?
No, I'm trying to get them connect.
Oh, they won't connect. Dale's having the same problem. He's on here, but
is that near the Arkansas Grand Canyon?
Do what, BC?
Yeah, is that near? I know Jasper's near the Arkansas Grand Canyon, but is OARK? I can't recall off the top of my head. I know where OARK's at, but I just don't know where it is in approximation to the area they call the Arkansas Grand Canyon.
That'd be more for Thomas to do. Here, let me turn your mic back on, Thomas.
Okay. Whoop. Well, I lost him.
He was asking, is OARK near the Arkansas Grand Canyon?
I think it's a little bit further away than that.
Okay.
So.
Because I've heard of Dogman sightings around the Arkansas Grand Canyon area.
Huh.
Yeah. But getting back, they could be snouts. Personally, I think some of the Dogmen are just too canine-like to be considered primates. But I don't throw anything out at this point because, as I've said before, everybody's wrong because we don't really know what's right. So.
Right. Where it's all a theory right now, and that we're seeking the answers to either prove the hypothesis one way or another. And
right.
In our team here, we've got just about somebody from each point of view, what they think Bigfoot is, what Dogman is, what all the cryptids are. But it takes all teamwork, us working together and being with each other as a team to figure this out.
And I know that some of, it seems like among some circles, there's a lot of infighting as to who's right and who's wrong. But, I'm not going to get involved in that because we're all looking for answers. And, I'll listen to what anybody has to say. I'm not saying I believe everything I'm told, which I don't, but at least I'll listen to it.
That's me. I listen to it, and sometimes I go, and I actually look into it. If I find evidence of it, I move in that direction, for a while or until I find different. A lot of people says that Bigfoot, Dogman, all these are interdimensional beings and they move in and out. And I can't disagree with that, but I haven't seen nothing physically myself to say they are or not. So my personal belief, I don't believe that they are. I think they're just extremely adept and very powerful for their size and what they are. But like I said, I could be wrong.
The cloaked entity thing that's something that really, because I can't say for sure that's what I had an encounter with back in '89, but I do know that, as I told you about that encounter, that I'm looking dead right with those footprint, or I'm sorry, with the steps, sorry, there's leaflet there, and I'm looking dead at it, and I don't see a thing. And that's when I went from like, what the heck, to, instant terror, and I just started shooting, which, you never do. You don't shoot unless you have a confirmed target, but something just hit me where I was just absolutely terrified, and I just started shooting, and I shot my way out of there. I don't know if I hit anything, but I don't know if that 16 gauge with a 6 shot would have done any good, but I wasn't expecting it to run into anything like that because, I didn't think about such things. And it wasn't until later when I got into this topic that I looked back on some things that had happened to me as early as 1982 that I'm like, when you start hearing other people tell the same exact thing, I'm just like, wait a minute. And then other people tell me their encounters and so on and so forth. So.
Right. That's the same as me. I look back on a lot of stuff as a teenager and everything. And I'm like, at the time, I was just like, man, that's weird or strange. But now I look back and I'm like, hey, you're lucky to be here. Lucky to be alive.
Yeah. How many times have we walked right past them and didn't know it?
Didn't know it.
Well, that one area where I had that encounter, it's called the Cliffs, or Devil's Kitchen, as some call it around here. And a lot of us used to run around, go out there and play and all that, just frolicking around as kids, And it was a cousin of mine that told me, after I told him that encounter, he said, I felt like we were watched every time we were out there. And I'm like, well, you're just not telling me this? 30, 40 years after the fact, you're now telling me this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, we've lost Thomas altogether now.
I guess he's trying to work on his audio.
Yeah, his headphone. Oh, he's back.
No, he isn't.
No, he's gone. It seems never to fail when you get on here that you go to having all these technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is there's several different people's computers and systems that's working, and they're just not all jiving with each other. And it's a learning experience for us. Like I said, I just learned last week to have these earbuds, and it'd get rid of a lot of the echoing, or you can have your speaker 6 to 8 feet away from your mic, and that'll help.
Yeah, I'm just using a smartphone. It's probably about 2.5, 3 feet from me, and that's it.
Yeah.
But you're coming in without no echo now. I mean,
yeah,
clear as bell.
That's the same way with you. So maybe it's filtering it out or something to where a laptop don't with a mic.
Could be.
Yeah. I guess I can remind everybody if we're here live, and if you got a comment or a question or anything along that lines you want to know about, just write the comment and we'll post it up here and try to answer it. All right. Ain't got no comments or questions, so I'm gonna move on. The topics here that I've had that's sent to me through the email. It says, do you believe that Bigfoot migrates seasonally from one area to another? I believe they migrate, but not seasonally. They may have, like, we have a holiday year or a breeding year that they will migrate, but they'll come back to their home ranges. And,
right.
And the only other time they move around inside their home range.
Right. Following food sources is my
Yeah.
guess.
That's what I would say is the most topic is following the food source and water, depending on weather, you know.
Right. And they, you know, they're opportunistic because, you know, when I told a guy here a few months ago that, yeah, they do come into town, and he was, you know, kind of shocked about that. And I told him about the dumpster at the church down the street from me that's been flipped over a few times after they've had potlucks or whatever. I mean, yeah, teenage kids, possible, but as big and heavy as that is,
Right.
not likely.
Not likely. And it'd take
Can't
an
rule it out, but
awful
not
big bear to flip a dumpster over too.
yeah, there have been bears spotted in this area, but I have not heard of any in a long time. But doesn't mean it won't happen.
Talking with another friend of mine, Robert Swain from Conway. You're talking about the dumpster deal. This was in 2016. They'd had on the southeast side of Conway several of the restaurants had come in, and that's exactly it'd be close to Conway Lake in there, and they'd had their dumpsters flipped over like that, and it's like, and they'd flip it back, and it was a weekly process, like it come through every week. So, and
maybe it was a certain, maybe they wanted to stop by on fajita night or something. Maybe it was just a particular dish or something they liked.
Yeah, something, the smell that they like. Never
I'm
thought about
hoping
that, but it could have been.
I'm hoping Robert can put on that conference this year. I haven't heard if it's going to happen or not, but
I hadn't either. There's one in June down at Fout that's going to be going on, and then there's one at the zip line in Ouachita Mountains. I forget. In September, I believe. But I'd really like to, if Robert's health is good and they can have one in Conway again, that'd be awesome.
Well, you were talking about earlier about them wearing hides. Now, there's been people reporting seeing them with like deer hides on and wolf hides. And even one report, I think it was out of Washington State, with a bear hide or milk hide. I can't remember which it was. So
that's just my theory, and because the Native Americans did that, and these people are seeing something, and it's just it's just not genetically right to have a sheep head on a human-shaped body or whatever. So somehow this is getting around. Well, that's what it looked like when the Indians did that, wore their headdresses, and that's why I was putting that two and two together. And also on that, the only other reason I say that, I got a friend that's in Georgia. He was getting reports of dog men that were fighting each other. And one of the dog men from one side of the county had the actual dog track, the dog foot, but the ones on the other side of the county had the more human looking like a foot, like a Bigfoot. But both had the dog head appearance. So that's another reason I base the ones on the it'd be the western side of the state there. Had the headdress because they had the human-like foot. It's just a theory.
Right.
Well.
Am I coming through clear?
Yeah, you're coming through.
Yeah, you're coming through clear. I'm getting some echo again.
It's like everybody kind of
do what, Thomas?
That's like a lot of people is trying to figure out how come we see them or they'll see them, and then when they turn around, back around, they're gone. Well, that goes back to the theory. You look at a track star; they don't run flat-footed. person that runs flat and slow, but if they go up on the balls of their toes, they can move.
Right.
They can move
Right, they
fast.
run off the balls with their feet, so they're really in sprint mode.
Right. So it's just, is that what they're doing? Because you look at the packs on a lot of them when they're running or moving faster than walk. It's more of the toes and the heel goes down. Well, the toe and the balls goes down in the dirt, deep heel. So
Right.
they got the foot up a little bit, and that's what makes it really hard to extinguish foot track from a bear track. We don't know what a bear track looks like, especially when they double step.
Right.
So, in fact, I picture a footprint. Probably about 9 years old. That was taken outside of Sugar Grove, Arkansas. And they almost bite. It was my son and a bunch of his friends going scouting right along the national store there on some private land, and they just happened down and there was that print. Doubt wasn't a double step. So yeah, I know back in the 80s, early 80s, a friend and family had leased some land from the Corps engineer over there and moved cattle over because that's the way he made his living. And me and a bunch went over and moved cattle when it flooded over in Sugar Grove. And that was Petty Jean River. And we brought back a cow that had claw marks on both sides of the hip going straight up, big as a grown man's hand. He just blew it off as a cougar. A cougar did it. And one heck of a cougar if it was a cougar. Because it went down into the meat and up.
And usually a cougar or anything like that, they're more of a drag across the back straight up or straight down.
Well, this came up from part of the leg up toward the hips. So there wasn't no cougar.
It'd have to be on the back of it and reaching down and pulling up. It'd be an awful odd situation to be in like that. Usually they're around the neck area.
Yeah. They usually go for that jugular fast kill.
Mm-hmm.
They're like a pit bull. They'll go for that neck for that quick kill.
Talk Arkansas game of fish, they'll tell you there are no big cats in Arkansas. We all know better than that.
Yeah, we all know different than that. At two different times in my life, mountain lion that was almost waist high outdoors to me, so that's a big old cat.
Yeah, there's not supposed to be bobcat up in the River Valley. I remember being a kid walking this. I live on my grandparents' old farm. I'll get together, walk to town, and we'd take a shortcut on the way home from Moody. There was always one tree, the limb was road, and never failed. There was always a bobcat up in that tree. And he would scream. It was like a little game with him. He'd sit there, walk back through. After dark, he'd scream. And if you didn't know that bobcat, it'd crud out of you. Some people turn around off the opposite way. I was just bobcat. But
Got a friend of mine here asked a question. Do you think other states are going to follow suit with like Oklahoma, to where you got to have a license area to like they're doing the reward for catching a live one?
really shouldn't do it.
Unfortunately.
But I think they did that just I guess you'd say put ease of mind to people, you know. I can go get them permit, whatever, kill it, da. They don't realize you shoot those things. You better be looking around because there's more than one.
Right.
Unless that one was the clan somewhere.
Yeah, either traveling between clans or the clan and kicked them out. Usually they don't travel alone.
No.
There's nobody talking. I think I may have lost sound. Got an echo again.
How about now?
I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I lost sound for a minute there. I don't know why. I guess the next thing we'll move to, what other cryptids or things are in your area that you've had people tell you about, is the question basically they're asking. Is there anything else besides Bigfoot in your state or areas that you deal with, is the question.
Is this for me or Thomas?
I'll go with you first, BC, and then I'll turn Thomas's mic on and yours off. I'll let you answer first, and then I'll let Thomas answer.
Yes, there have been. There are things described me that sound like aliens, dogmen, mothmen, cloaked entities. That's nothing that's like a rake or anything, fortunately, or skinwalkers, but because what I've heard of them, the rest of the stuff is scary enough, but don't need those around here. But yeah, I've been told of those things, and interesting. I mean, these people, and some of them I've known for decades, and they're not going to just make up stuff. And especially, as I told you earlier, that I'll go back and ask them about their encounters or sightings, and they're staying true to what they're saying. They're not changing all the time. So, yeah, I tend to believe that, they're telling me the truth.
That's me. I've had different people's told me different encounters of UFOs, what they believed it was an alien. I do have one encounter and it's from a boy. It was in 2017. That was a big old football player. He got the life scared out of him. He believes it was a rake, and it was over in the west part of Saline County, over where Thomas is at.
Oh boy!
And
lucky you, Thomas.
Yeah, so I'm gonna turn it over to Thomas now and see if he's heard of anything like this. Was he was going out to the barn to feed all the animals and everything, running right into this thing, and it was basically the size of what we'd say a Bigfoot is 7 foot tall, something like that. But it was gray skin. His question was it a rake or was it something that had the mange like a Bigfoot? He said it was snarling and growling, and it just looked extremely malnourished with spotty hair. And I'm like, I can't answer that. But he said the best thing I can say it was a rake, and this was over in Saline County. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Thomas.
Well, around here it says Bigfoot, but being from Saline, born and raised, hunted those woods and everything, I made my money on it was a big man with mange. Get a lot of reports of that, especially like right now. Saline River's up, it's flooding.
Yeah.
A lot of reports come out of the Saline River bottoms. From the upper Saline to the lower Saline. They travel that river. They'll travel like on Hurricane Creek. They'll break Sling River up Hurricane Creek, southeastern Arkansas, southeastern county. And you get report people seeing them all the time. I mean, we go hunting, squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting while they're a teenager. Those woods go quiet. We were out of there. We weren't going to hang around. I mean, those down there have been known to rip dogs apart. So as far as a wraith being reported out of Saline County, I've never heard of down there strictly Bigfoot.
I think that's what this boy had saw was one that was a Bigfoot that was malnourished and maybe had the mange. It was grayish skin and really thin and growled a whole lot at him. And he backed up and went to the house and got the shotgun. And he said by the time he got back, it'd run. They had a plank rail fence, and it'd run right through this plank rail fence and left. And he contacted.
Yeah, the gray spotty skin, spotty hair, the gray skin.
Yeah.
Malnourished, growling. That goes along with a dog mange. You know how they are.
Yeah.
They lose the hair. Their skin's gray, dry looking. Body. Even if they were your pet, they'll look at you and growl.
Right.
Almost like they're rabid. Minus the foaming mouth and everything. So that's probably what the boy's seen. Because those out of Saline, the Bigfoot out of Saline, people report them being between 6 and 8 feet tall.
Yeah, he said this was about 7 foot tall. So according to the barn door that he was fixing to go into.
Yeah, in Saline, if you pull up a map and look along the Saline River, the farms, that has grown up, with population. Because Saline's actually right door to Pulaski County. People working in Little Rock moved down there. They'd rather commute. And they have built houses in areas they shouldn't have built houses down there because it's swampy. And that's probably what I'm out. Making them go deeper and everything. That's like Anthony's down at Rising. And he had his report, the report he had on one. And his turkey hunt on the Saline River. And we were always told you don't go to this area on the Saline River camping or everything. And on the upper Saline where we would go camping as a kid, we weren't allowed to go with it. It had to be a 12-gauge shotgun loaded with slugs. But
Right.
as
They
far
knew
as
what-
anything,
They knew what was there and wanted you to be protected as best we could.
oh yeah, we didn't go camping alone. We didn't go alone. As always in packs of 2 or more, and heavily armed.
Either one of y'all guys got any questions that people has asked y'all that y'all would like to ask, either you, BC, or Thomas?
No.
I don't know, BC, can you hear us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about questions that for either of y'all.
Yeah, if you got any questions or know of anything that somebody might have asked you or about the state or about a Bigfoot or about anything?
No, not really. It's just basically, the same thing everybody else asks. I mean, what are they? And, I tell them what I think they are, but, I also say that, that's just one one school of thought among many out there. I mean, I don't know if either of you listen to Steve Isdall, How to Hunt, and people letters that what they think they are. Some of them, yeah, I can go for it, and some are, I'll just say they're interesting. Just not something I don't agree with, but I'm not going to just immediately just brush somebody aside because their opinion is different than mine.
Dale, I guess he give up trying to get on. He has said, "Hi, gentlemen." Hi, Dale. Wish you could get on here. I don't know. It's 2 podcasts in a row. We're gonna have to get you a different laptop or something. I know you got new internet. That's not the problem.
Now, Walker Robert mentioned something about a possible dog man at Patterson, which is about 3 miles west of McCrory, but I don't know if he's followed through with that or not. I need to ask him, see if he's found out anything more on that.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Well, everything that's came up since our last investigation we've been on was over here just about 5 miles house, right along Highway 309. A bunch of trees got broke off, all facing the same direction. And that's at O'Kane Island. At the used to be part. You could go off and picnic and everything, and they let it go, grow up, no trees. And I got curious, went in there and looked. Of course, Neil went in there and looked after the lady posted the videos. I'd been seeing them go between Paris and Ozark at least twice a week. I'll stop. Well, it was kind of interesting after Neil went in there and looked at it. So I pulled in there. I walked out and looked, and they were broke off almost the same height, but it looked like the trees were dead. You got the rot happens in trees when they're bunched up. It was all in one little area, though. Yeah, I went in there and looked, and they weren't rotted. They were broke off. And there's a couple others right across the entrance going to the boat ramp. It's that way, but across 309, same tree. Nothing. That lady came back and asked me about it, and I told her. There's Bigfoot in that area. They travel right along old levees they've got. There's 3 levees running through there. Keep the river balance, but now right at the end of that, you got Short Mountain Creek that comes through there into the river. So it doesn't matter things. In fact, one of the guys running for a constable here goes deer hunting now on O'Kane Island. I was talking one day. I knew he seen. He asked me if I'd gone out there and seen him. I said, no, I haven't been out there. Every time I go out on an island, it's freaking flooded.
Yeah.
And that guy is one of the state representatives for Logan County area down low. So
it's going to be hard to anybody that's in a higher office to actually say, I've seen had dealings and believe in a Bigfoot or any of these other cryptids or things that happen, because they don't want somebody thinking they're foolish. But just like we have a friend, Barry Robinson, he posted on his deal, he had somebody asked him about his Bigfoot stickers in his windows, and I've got several of them, got several on my team now. Thomas over here makes them for us, does a good job. You can look on our pages there as a plug and order some from Thomas. But anyway, we got they asked Barry if he'd had any encounters or if he believed in that Bigfoot, and he said, yeah, because he had it in his window. And then they went to telling him about their encounter. That's happened to me several times now that I've had these stickers in my windows.
I've had. I stop at West outside of Ozark on this side of the Ozark Bridge. Had people me about those decals in the back of my window. Of course, the ones I got's the 10-inch, you know, the big ones.
Big ones, yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny. It was the other day I stopped in there because I had to drive my truck. And a guy walks up. I like your. Thank you. That's my wife makes them. You believe in Bigfoot? I said, oh yeah, I've seen them. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen one a few times. And he got on talking to me, and come find out he lives over near Neil's grandmother's, outside of this side of the Mulberry River there.
Right.
Near Turner's Bend.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
the
hey,
thing. Turner's Bend. Yeah.
Yeah. There he goes. I'm out there all the time, like it wasn't nothing. They were come up to the house. I had one go out in my barn. Dogs raising Cain. I shot his out there, and it just kind of looked at me and took off. And he lives right near where we've been. Area, where was it? Not area 2. It's between area 2 and area 4 there. Up on the highway, you got to turn off and go back up in there. The get where he lives. Oh yeah, you hear them over there all the time and everything. Y'all ever gone? Have you ever gone out there? So we have a few places we go out there. So they kind of draw attention.
Yeah.
Real quick.
I'm gonna let BC answer now. Turn his mic back on here and let him answer to where if he's had anybody start a conversation just because they know that he's dealt with Bigfoot or stickers or anything like that. You have anybody like that over in Ball Knob that just comes up to you and talks to you?
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times, but you know, I think only maybe a couple of them they were serious, but a couple of them I could tell that they were just trying to make a joke out of it, and I just kind of laughed it off with them and went on my way.
I've had that.
Yeah, there are some people that will contact me and say, "Hey, look, have you heard of this? Have you heard of that? Have you seen this or whatever?" And I'd say, "Well, and just tell them, and like house slappings." And my sister lived down close to Hurricane Lake, and one night something was just rapidly tapping on her window, and said she got really scared. I said, if that ever happens again, do not open the window. Whatever you do, grab a gun, call some people. She called neighbors. They come down there. They didn't see anything. Just like when my house got slapped in 2018, I didn't know what it was at the time.
Right.
It wasn't until after I got in this, which was like shortly thereafter, when I started, taking this up as a, hobby or field research.
Together,
whatever.
Something's going on, and what is this? Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened. Some, said, "Hey, I've heard you're into this or whatever," and blah blah blah, and they tell me, and so so I'll refer them. Say I recommend your YouTube channel and Facebook page, and I recommend MK Davis and Thinker Thunker and Steve Isdall and Scott Carpenter, and the ones that I really respect a lot, and tell them just have a look there. I think Vic Cundin or whatever his name, Cundin or whatever, I can't remember his last name. I'm not pronouncing it, but he posted a dogman encounter that happened just north of Searcy, Arkansas, which is like 10 miles from him. So, things like that. People will see that, or they'll come across and say, "Hey, have you ever seen or heard?" And blah blah blah. Yeah, I tell them,
Just
whether
north.
they believe me or take me serious or not. I think some do. Some want to walk away kind of scratching their head, and some just like, "Nah, I don't believe that," which is fine.
Just north of Searcy, and if you go a little bit further north, is Dale's place. He's had all kinds of activity, house slapping, a big old rock thrown out on his patio and busted his patio. But below
Man.
him and right above Searcy is a place called Sidon. It's
Yep,
a little
Simon.
yeah, and I've had several different people contact me about activity in their area, and but the people that they wanted to know what they could do to run them off, but they only own just a very little bit of land, say 3 or 4 or 5 acres, and where the Bigfoot is at is on private property, and there's signs you can't go on there. And I went over there. I'm like, well, I can tell you what to do right here, but there ain't much I can do unless I can get over there, get permission, and get over there into that property over there, But yeah, Sidon, north of Searcy, is a heavily activity area. Now that you brought that up,
Yeah, I've heard of
well,
activity along the Little Red River, and to go even further north, I've heard of Dogman, Rake, and Bigfoot sightings around Heber Springs.
yeah,
So, there's a river that's way to travel. There's plenty of water, plenty of food. So, yeah, it makes sense that you'd have activity
back
around
there.
there.
Thomas, doesn't your sister live somewhere over by north of Searcy?
She lives over outside hill there on a horse oak, and they have activity over there to this day. I mean,
Where's it? I didn't even remember the town. Where is it?
Center Hill, outside of Searcy.
Wow. Yeah, really.
One of her neighbors and son was going to cut through one of the roads one night, go over general before it closed over there. And soon they round the corner, they thought it was a dog or a bear, pretty good size. Sitting there eating a dead animal, and the thing stood straight up. Turned around, looked at them, went right off in the brush. They don't take that side road anymore after dark.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
My sister used to have them, and we ended up security light on the pole. That slowed it down. It just changed techniques, went around to the front, and we ended up putting 12 night vision cameras, high dollar ones up, and ended up replacing her 2 back lights with LEDs last time I was down there. That lit up the whole back acre of her property. And now place went to the neighbor's place, and in fact, it did some damage to his dog food. So he's got all sorts of lights up over there now.
Yeah, I've got motion sensor lights around my place too. I don't want my house left anymore.
I've been lucky here. Most of them here is they move up and down the Cattern Creek, and that's about a mile and a half, 2 miles. So they very rarely ever come up around where my house is. But my uncle's place is down by the creek and everything. He's had activity because they move through there. It's their highway, and they move through.
Yeah, just like the railroad tracks here. I believe that's just one of their travel lanes.
Way to get from point A to point B, and they use it. We got a question here. Let me see what it says. This is from Dale. That area that Tom is talking about was near where I had my first encounter when I was 17. So it's been an active area for a long time.
Hey, I wasn't aware there's that kind of activity around Center Hill. This is all new to me, but very interesting.
Yeah.
The more people you talk to, the more you hear.
More you hear and things that they're willing to say. That same way, like we were saying earlier about people coming up or stickers or whatever. The longer I've been doing this and doing these podcasts and our Bigfoot cartel and doing our investigations, it seems like more and more people get to know you, and once they recognize you're like, hey, come over here, I got something I need to tell you. So that's happened more and more. So you can expect more now, BC.
I'm good with that. I'll do my best to answer questions. If I don't have an answer, I'll refer them to someone that does or may have an answer.
That's exactly what I say. I said, well, I asked the way you asked your question or tell me your statement. And if I don't know the answer, I got several friends, y'all included, on the team here that I've bumped the question. I've asked BC, I've asked Thomas, Clint, Dale, all sorts of different questions and get back to them with an answer. So,
right. Because I've asked you questions or told you about things that happened, getting your your opinion on it.
That's how we learn.
Exactly.
Well, y'all got any final thoughts or comments? We're over our hour here by 7 minutes. Me and BC was talking beforehand, and it goes by quicker than what you think it does. We was like, we was gonna make it, be able to talk for an hour, but y'all got any comments or questions or anything y'all want to say before we sign off of here?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on here tonight. Do appreciate it, and it's always a pleasure talking to you, Wendell.
Same here.
And nice meeting you, Thomas. I believe it's Thomas. Yep. Nice meeting you too.
Yep, he's one of the. Well, he's the one that founded the Arkansas Bigfoot Hunting Club, and they joined. That's why our my group is the cartel. Is a cartel is a bunch of individual groups that join together for a common goal to promote something, and that's what we're promoting: the search for these cryptids and unanswered questions. And that's why we started this Seeker podcast here, and we'll continue the search. I want to thank
you for allowing me to be part of it.
Both of you for being on here, and around the 20th or 23rd of next month, we'll have another podcast. And if you know anybody that's had an encounter that would want to share it or want to be on here to ask questions, just hit me up, and I'm sure Thomas will be on here, and maybe we can get Dale back on here finally. But I thank y'all for both being on here, and I guess I'll talk to y'all later, and we'll end this podcast.
All right. Thanks a lot again, Wendell. Y'all be good.
Thank y'all.